everybody, today we are talking about a fragrance and I do find this fragrance entirely unfortunate and want to share with you my impression of it. Now, if you know me, you know that I don't discriminate when it comes to fragrances. I do tend to gravitate towards probably designer or niche side of the spectrum. However, I have a lot of interest and admiration in celebrity fragrances and inexpensive fragrances, and I love finding a diamond in the rough. I love finding a gem. I love finding something that is excellent quality at an excellent price and has an interesting composition, and there are plenty of those. I do have a video that I filmed a while ago. I do need to film an update because I've tried significantly more of the inexpensive fragrances. And within the celebrity fragrances, I do tend to have much more disappointment than joy. Unfortunately, it's really infrequently that I find a celebrity fragrance that is worth its salt. And in this particular case, I will run you through the details of why I think this is probably not the pick for you. So if you're a viewer and you like this, tell me why, first of all. I want to know why down below, firstly. And secondly, if you're a weirdo who feels that it's a personal attack whenever you like something and somebody else doesn't, that happens in makeup community all the time, happens in fragrance community less frequently because fragrance community tends to be a little bit more highbrow and they wouldn't engage in that kind of behavior, thankfully. So, you know, just a word of advice. If some YouTuber does not like something you like, this doesn't mean that they hate you. So relax, back off, and just, you know, chill out. Like what you like. Be confident about your tastes. If you love Ariana Grande Cloud, rock it. Go for it. I think it's gross, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't like it. So if you tend to be in agreement with me for most of my reviews, then you probably will hate it too. So, all right, that disclaimer out of the way. Let's continue. I was very, very intrigued by the notes in this one. To be fair, Ariana Grande or not Ariana Grande, doesn't really matter for me. I'm not a fan of her. I'm not a fan of her music at all. I don't love Ariana Grande. I don't dislike her either. I'm very lukewarm, okay, about whatever she's doing with her life. Personally, not my thing. But she's very successful. So really, we're not talking about the celebrity here. And that's not a review of Ariana Grande. It's a review of the fragrance that she slapped her name on. I doubt that she had much input in here because I would prefer to think that she has better taste than that. This is a very unfortunate little bottle. And it gave me much grief and much disappointment because I had very high hopes for it looking at the composition, looking at the notes, looking at the pyramid, looking at what they put in there. I was super intrigued. I'm like, oh, finally, something cool and interesting is coming out in the celebrity realm. I am going to try this. So let's start with the packaging and we'll move on with the rest of it. There isn't a redeeming thing about this fragrance, and especially the packaging. If you look at this closely, doesn't it remind you of Essence fragrances? If you've bought Essence fragrances that cost like $4 to $6, this is the packaging they use, and it's a very obviously exceptionally cheap. The fragrance isn't that cheap though, but sure, they saved on the packaging, and it came in this little ugly cloud, which I find incredibly useful, and I'll tell you for what. This is the only part of the fragrance I actually like, because at first I was like, oh, what a stupid cloud, and I was like, I can really find use for it, but the fragrance came like this. So super tacky, very cheap, doesn't have a name of the fragrance on it, just says Ariana Grande. Very unfortunate packaging, super disappointing. In my mind, I was like, okay, maybe the fragrance is much better than the packaging. I looked at it, I was like, this is butt ugly, but I am going to give it a chance. So here's what this fragrance is good for. For me, I struggle sometimes to find a place for small items on my makeup table. My powder puff goes right in here. My small mascara that doesn't stand up in my brush stand in here. My little scoop for creams and foundations and pots in here. Perfect. This is the most useful thing ever. I'm so happy to have that. I'm very sad that I paid so much money for it, but you know, I'll take the positive. This is the positive of this fragrance. Now let's talk about the bottle over here. So I'll tell you why I bought it. Because of the ingredient list, which I was super stoked about. I thought, well, finally something cool, something interesting, something beautiful and yummy coming out in the celebrity fragrance world. They all go for sweet fragrances, but they're all like pretty much like sweet sugar, which is so uninteresting to me, and kind of induces this, oh, this is too sweet kind of feeling. And I like sweet fragrances, by the way. So here they are talking about having whipped cream. Yum. I was like, okay, sign me up. I love creaminess in a fragrance. Creaminess is very hard to do in a fragrance, and I love it when it's achieved, and I love it when you're smelling creaminess on skin, and some of it might have gourmand qualities to it, and it's just yum. I was all about that. Coconut, love coconut. In a fragrance, coconut is, for some reason, weirdly difficult to do realistically in a fragrance, but I thought, hey, maybe with whipped cream and coconut, this is going to be a little something, something for me. Spoiler alert, this is hardly coconut at all. But I was excited about the coconut, a good note for a summer fragrance. Really stoked about it being combined with some creaminess. Great. And the third big thing that I was really excited about is praline, which I love. I actually like praline note, but it's again one of those sweet notes that is hard to hit right in the head. And praline is used a lot in celebrity perfumery, and it just doesn't turn out usually. Here's an example of fantastic praline. La Vie est Belle. This is a well done, delicious, realistic praline. This is completely absent in here. Now we're talking about lavender, musk, some fruitiness, and vanilla orchid, a little bit of woods, whatever, supporting stuff. But the prominent three notes, which I was excited about, are definitely the whipped cream, definitely the coconut, and definitely the praline. I was like, okay, if this is packaged well, if you are creating and constructing that scent in a way that stays integrated, it's lasting, and it's in fact creamy and gourmand, I'm all over it. And that's what I was hopeful for. And unfortunately, it was a big disappointment, about the same level of disappointment I've had with the Burberry For Her, the Parfum. I heard that the Parfum Intense, I think, is better, but I have very similar emotions towards this Ariana Grande, except packaging is way worse than the Burberry. The Burberry Her, I do recall telling you guys, was poorly constructed, fell apart, and had a weird sort of plasticky, cheap cigarette smell that was left over after it wore away a little bit, and it didn't stay on skin very long at all, although it's another parfum. This is also another parfum. Yes, it is. No, it isn't. Yeah. If you're expecting any kind of longevity out of this guy, it's not going to happen. It's very short lasting, maximum 3 hours, and 2.5 hours of it are kind of disappointing. I would wager to say a bit nasty. So what are we talking about here? Yes, it does open. The opening, the first 20 minutes or so, is actually not bad. And if it held together, just like Burberry Her, it's not bad. If it held together in a way that made sense and created this light, fruity, creamy feeling, I would have been happy. There is maybe something resembling whipped cream, definitely something slightly creamy, not creamy, heavy, luscious, delicious in a way I was imagining, but in a kind of a powdery, creamy way, which is weird, like condensed milk that's been dried, and now you're sort of smelling the powder. It's a little bit bizarre, but okay, I'm on board with this. There is something creamy about it. Let me dig further. Then the coconut that is being promised to us as well. Unfortunately, also some kind of a dry powdered coconut. And this is not the coconut that I was expecting, which, you know, I was assuming to be the real coconut. If you've been to a tropical country and you've had a coconut split open for you, drink in the water, then drink a cocktail out of the shell, and then maybe scoop the flesh out and have it with a dessert, I mean, that's the coconut I wanted. Not the coconut I got, however. Coconut, for some reason, tends to be a weirdly difficult note to replicate in fragrances. Not a lot of them really resemble a real deal. Really resemble even the shaved coconut shavings that you buy for baking. Like, I would settle for that scent. Please, give me that. No. For some reason, perfumers find it very difficult to make coconut realistic, and that's unfortunate. Because here, what I'm feeling is as if you were at a gas station on a summer road trip you didn't particularly want to go on, but you feel hot in the car. Maybe the air conditioning isn't working well. It doesn't blow far enough to cool you down, and you just want a Slurpee or a slushie. So you come into this gas station and there's a variety of different slushies, and you look at them and you decide that you're going to go for the coconut slushie. Coconut slushie is basically crushed ice, which is refreshing, the refreshing part of this thing. And they add a little bit of like coconut syrup, which is a very synthetic, plasticky kind of taste. So this is the syrup that goes into that gross slushie is the syrup that they put in here somehow. So yes, very fake, kind of plasticky coconut that is kind of powdery and dry at the same time. That's weird. Maybe the dryness is more from the whipped cream. The whipped cream, by the way, this is not fresh whipped cream, I'm telling you that. And I whip a lot of cream up. I use it a ton in the kitchen. There is some sweetness to it, but even so, it doesn't really commit to being fully sweet. It doesn't really go into that gourmand direction. Again, praline is kind of hard to do, I guess. It's a very frequently used note, but it rarely actually smells like praline. So here, this is an indistinguishable kind of sweetness in the background, and that also evaporates very fast. So you don't even get a lot of sweetness that I was expecting, because I kind of wanted this to be a delicious, creamy dessert of a fragrance. That's what I was looking for, and that's kind of how it was promised. Maybe the name Cloud means that it needs to be powdery and airy, but really all it did is evaporate immediately, not create any kind of lasting impression, and definitely the pyramid just fell apart and certainly didn't smell like anything what you would expect by reading the notes. So, verdict. This, to me, is not another Parfum, because it just doesn't hold up whatsoever. Kind of powdery, sort of plasticky after about 20 to 30 minutes of wear. First 20 minutes are okay, and then the rest of the time is just like a weird powdery plastic, which I can't tolerate very easily. I've been wearing it though. As you can tell, I really tried to like it. I did give it a very fair shot. I have about half of the bottle, a little bit more than half the bottle left, and I think I am done with it. I will probably use it as an air freshener in the guest bathroom, because I don't really even want to smell it a lot around me. This is a quality of an air freshener. I wouldn't be surprised if this liquid was marketed as an air freshener, like some kind of a tropical air freshener. Yes, that would be reasonable, and that would make sense to me. Buy a big jug for $5 and go ham in your bathroom to make sure the toilet doesn't stink, and go ham in your bathroom. That is what I'm talking about here. This is not. I mean, I was very disappointed. It's quite unfortunate. I am sad about it because I really wanted it to work out. I don't buy fragrances to criticize them. Who does that? I buy fragrances to love them. That's the whole point of loving fragrances and being like a bit of a scent fanatic. You want to love your fragrances. You want to discover something cool and awesome and good quality and interesting, and another facet of your being opens up with that scent. I mean, that's a big ask. I understand. But honestly, it's not frequent that I come across fragrances this poorly constructed. The idea was there, and I really wish this idea would come to fruition. I wish that it would smell like they say that it should. Let's see, when was it released, by the way? 2018 was a floral fruity gourmand. There was nothing floral about it. Fruity gourmand, okay, not really fruity, whatever. And it's Clément Gavarni is the perfumer. All right, Clément, let's check you out. So he constructed for Abercrombie and Fitch. He made one Ariana Grande, this one. Some for Avon, some from Bath and Body Works, Forever Sunshine. I haven't tried that one, or I don't remember it. I'm not sure. Some Calvin Klein, Eternity, Summer, a few of them. I don't really have anything to say about those. Elizabeth Arden. Oh, okay. What did you make for Elizabeth Arden? Fifth Avenue NYC Red. That was not bad. Untold. Didn't like. I owned it. Didn't like it. Red Door Shimmer. Didn't try it. Untold Eau Légère. Didn't own it because I didn't like the original. Prada Amber. I did own that one. That was not bad. Sarah Jessica Parker Lovely. Oh, this is the guy who did Sarah Jessica Parker Lovely. I did like that scent, but yet again, there's something a bit plastic at the end of it when it wears off. Although it's a good composition, I thought that the plastic thing was just like a fault of the manufacturing process more so than, or the initial materials. But maybe he likes this plastic thing, because it's not the first time. I've smelled that plastic thing also in Untold. Lovely definitely has it. This one has it the most. Fascinating. Maybe he likes that. Maybe that's his thing. I hate it. I really don't like it. All right, let's see what else. Let's see what else. Tom Ford Black Violet. I love that scent. Oh, 2007 release. I don't own it. I really wish I did. And that's it. So, okay. I've tried a few things by this Clément Gavari. Maybe this plastic component is something he actually enjoys. That could very well be. All right. So, again, this is just my opinion. This is not truth in the last instance. This is not, it's not meant to be personal for anyone who enjoys this thing. And I'm really curious, if you know of fragrances that have this kind of note spread and are actually palatable and good and last and don't fall apart and don't smell like plastic, let me know down below too. I want recommendations for this type of a creamy fragrance. It doesn't have to be coconutty. Just what are the creamiest fragrances within a gourmand genre or not that you know, and how would you describe them? Leave it down below and let's talk about them, because this is a great genre that doesn't really get a lot of attention. Creamy, milky, yummy sort of thing. That's it for today. See you guys later. Have a good day and good luck to you. Please do stay safe and healthy. Take care of yourself and others around you. Be kind, wear a mask. See you later. Bye-bye.